Hello scholars, welcome. Mr. Hinkle here. Continuing our discussion, introducing marine life, living material within the ocean that can reproduce, evolve, transmit and store energy, and adapt. So here is an introduction to adaptations of marine life. We will discuss various adaptations that exist in the ocean. Here's the short list. Really cool bioluminescent dinoflagellates. These are microscopic plankton that can light up the night, used as a defense against predators. It's one of the marine adaptations. I won't go through all these here. Let's go through them one by one. So there are three classifications of marine organisms: floaters, swimmers, and bottom dwellers. Now, swimming is an adaptation. Animals that swim in the ocean do so through, we'll call this buoyancy, hydrodynamics, do so through this process of changing the shape of their body over time to make it easier to swim through the water. This is called streamlining. They have a very specific shape, flattened body, a tapered back end. This provides efficient movement through time and offers the least amount of resistance to swim through the water so that animals use the least amount of energy as they swim. Now, buoyancy also happens because many animals have a swim bladder, a gas-filled pouch that can fill or empty to help adjust for depth in the water column. So, important to note too, these are specific adaptations that marine organisms have developed over time to exist in the marine environment. Terrestrial species don't have streamlined bodies or swim bladders. Nope, these are for marine organisms. So, body shape. What we see up here are plankton. These plankton are swimmers, and so they have all of these appendages that help them to float in the water. So, body shape, again, for smaller marine life is going to help them exist. And then they also have various size. So some organisms grow big and streamlined. Some organisms are really small. Their smaller size creates a much higher surface area to volume ratio, making them more resistant to sinking, giving them the ability to float. That's the whole classification, are marine floaters. Respiration. This is what you do. You breathe oxygen. Well, there's oxygen in the atmosphere. There's also dissolved oxygen in the ocean. And certain marine animals have evolved strategies from obtaining oxygen from water. Here we see in the case of fish, they have gills, they're specialized lungs that can absorb oxygen, release carbon dioxide, and then you have organisms that have evolved the ability to hold their breath for long periods of time. Whales that dive super deep have collapsible lungs. They turn off various functioning parts of their body so that they can go so deep. So for respiration, we've got structures, and we'll say hold breath. We could call these features that allow certain organisms to respire or breathe oxygen in ocean water. The ocean has an average temperature of about 4 degrees Celsius, but in the very top, the mixed layer, it can change. It's cold at the poles and it's hot at the equator. We know this intuitively. So certain animals have marine adaptations. Seals might have an insulating layer of blubber. Polar bears have hair that is hollow. Basically, they have double-paned windows all around their bodies. So temperature can be adapted for where certain marine life lives. Whether it's in warm areas or cool areas, we have various adaptations to survive in those temperature regimes in through various seasons and at various latitudes. Last time you went swimming, you were having so much fun. Swimming in the water, a big wave comes up, crashes and smashes you and just tumbles you around. You're in this oceanic wave washing machine. You come out and you're coughing, you're choking, got snot running down your face, and you notice, wow, that was really salty. Because the ocean is salty. About 3.5% total salinity, or about 35 parts per thousand. And so salt is important. We need salt for our functioning, normally bodily functioning. Marine life also needs salt. And the way that marine life can regulate the amount of salt is through the process of diffusion, allowing salt molecules to actively transport through their structure, through their cells. So the movement of water is osmosis. The movement of salts and other particles, molecules, is diffusion. So salt, water, has the processes of osmosis and diffusion. Marine adaptations, so that marine organisms can utilize the availability of the necessary aspects like salts. Cool. Okay, so it's a hard world out there in that ocean environment. You're either eating or you're getting eaten. Whoa, okay. So defense, really important. These beautiful colors in fish are not just so humans can enjoy the way that they look. I mean, I think so. So we can go scuba diving and go, ooh, ah, that's beautiful. But it's more so for hiding, for blending in with the environment. So we've got camouflage to develop color patterns, counter shading, where you're light on top and dark, light on the bottom and dark on top. So whether an animal is below or above you, it looks like you just blend in. Disruptive coloration, and then there's actual defense, spines and shells and toxins that can help to deter other predators from wanting to eat you. So predator-prey relationships exist in the ocean, and marine adaptations have led to supporting these various types of defenses. Speaking of eating, who's hungry? Baleen whales are. Baleen whales so the baleen is basically this big sieve in their mouth where they take in huge pockets of water and then they sieve out all of the marine life that is in it and use that to eat. This is called filter feeding. Other mechanisms, scavenging, predation, symbiotic relationships. There's a whole suite of different feeding mechanisms that marine life have developed. Because part of life is you need to capture, store, and use energy. And for consumers, that means we have to eat other life, whether it's plants or animals, right? Same process that we're familiar with on land. Producers, plants, take energy from the sun to make sugars, and then those feed consumers. Consumers usually have about 3 levels, primary, secondary, and tertiary, and then so on and so forth, the web of life. Reproduction. So we're just really thinking about all the things necessary for life. Life needs to live in the ocean. So it's actually, that's a review. I'm not quite ready for that. So reproductive strategies, broadcast spawning. So certain individuals will just allow their eggs to disperse into the environment. The females will broadcast their eggs out. The male counterpart will broadcast their sperm out. There will be external fertilization that happens, and then that is how you have the reproduction occurring. There's also bioluminescence, great for defense, but also good for attracting a mate in the deep ocean. The oceans are deep. They're so deep. And there's extreme pressures at depth. So body size, body shape, body type, specialized enzymes, no air pockets, different adaptations for different species at various depths in the ocean. And then the ocean is also so big, when we get into primary productivity, we'll see that in order for primary productivity to occur, we need sunlight and nutrients, and they vary by geography and season. So certain species have adapted to change their location geographically and seasonally to find food. So migration just means that animals are going where the food is. And that makes sense because there is abundant marine life in the ocean, but the ocean is so big that it's not uniformly distributed through time or space. Okay, now is my conclusion. So there's life in the ocean, and this life has adapted to live there. And some of the adaptations that have occurred are swimming and floating in the ocean, getting used to the temperatures at various latitudes, utilizing the molecules that are available necessary for life to function, defense from prey, going on the offense of feeding, reproducing so you can further your genetic lineage. Marine mammals respire, marine animals respire. They adapt to how deep the pressure is, and they move to find food through time and space. So these are some of the adaptations completed by marine organisms. Thank you so much. I'll see you again.